All right, we're here at Princeton Performance, Wisconsin, with my brother Steve, working on a '55 Buick Special. Steve, what do you show us what's going on here, man? You got a lot going on.
We got a lot going on. This project originally started out as basically just an engine transplant. We were going to remove the 264 and put in a 401. And since then, it has degraded to or escalated to four-wheel disc brakes, brand new suspension, getting rid of the old torque tube rear end, getting rid of the Dynaflow transmission.
We got that nice 400. And now is that an ST or
it is an ST400.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
When we scrapped all this out of here, what we did is we picked up a rear axle from a 1956 Bel Air,
which was awesome,
with a 355 gear.
I'm digging it.
The springs are from a 66 Buick Wildcat. The shocks are from a 97 Ford Aerostar van. We swapped out the fuel system, and you can see that we've got a new gas tank, actually from a 66 Mustang.
And that fit right in there, right in the
we cut the,
just like it was born there.
Just cut the floor out and put it in place.
Yeah, that turned out real nice.
We've also got a new high-flow fuel pump.
Because the other one was just too skinny, right? It was just
the other one, there was only a little quarter-inch fuel line on here.
So we can't use the mechanical fuel pump off the engine. That's why we went to the...
Right, the mechanical fuel pump that was on there was not capable of running a 3/8 line.
Right.
So we scrapped that and went to this electric fuel pump.
Because of the 800 CFM carburetor that we got going on,
right.
That fucker's going to be badass.
So now, the other thing that we did is because we took out the torque tube, we had to put in a ladder bar suspension.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's
holding the rear end in place. We reinforced the frame up here to hold the ladder bars in place. And then up on top of the rear axle, we put in a Panhard bar up to the frame. And
now that's really cool.
The old Panhard bar used to be attached way up at the top and came way down here to the old rear axle, so that when the rear end would articulate, as the rear end would go up, it would swing to the driver's side. Now the way we've got this situated right now, the rear end is unloaded. So we've got just a little bit of angle in this bar. When we set this down on the ground, this bar is almost going to be perfectly straight.
Nice.
And as the rear end articulates up and down, it'll basically be traveling straight up and down as opposed to side to side.
You really nailed that. That was ingenious how you put that together. That's fantastic. And now you still got to do some welding over there, attaching that.
Yeah, this bracket up here is just on there temporarily. I got to weld that in place.
Right.
And there's a couple little things that still have to be done here, but...
now on the tranny, we just got, this is the tranny mount that he built.
Right, what we did is, because this thing had the Dynaflow in it, the old transmission mount was way up here because that transmission was so much smaller.
Yeah, this is where the old bracket was.
So, and it used to be way up inside of here, so we scrapped that. This transmission, again, is an ST400 that we picked up in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And after mounting that in there, we needed a new transmission mount. So we fabbed up this mount here, and then the supporting mount on the inside is a Turbo 400 mount from a C20 Chevy truck. Yep, there's our yoke.
But
it's much bigger. Now, this transmission, the ST400, had a smaller extension housing on the back that was substantially smaller than the diameter of this yoke. So what I did is I just got a hold of a buddy of mine, and he got me a new Turbo 400 extension housing, which goes right on the back. The output shaft is the same between the ST400 and the Turbo 400. This would barely slide on and then bottom out against the housing. So now we have a new housing, like so.
Nice, with new seals.
Yep. And with this new housing, this just slides right in here like butter. And that's the way that's going to work.
So then we're going to be measuring for a drive shaft.
Exactly, yeah. Once we get this in place, then we can measure for our drive shaft. See if we can get lucky enough to find one that's exactly the right length. Otherwise, we're going to have to buy one, and we're going to have to cut it to length and have it welded and rebalanced in order to work.
Check out this, Randy, this oil pan.
Yeah, one of the other things we had to do, the 401 was out of a 66 Wildcat, and the sump for the oil pan was way up here in the middle. So obviously it wouldn't fit in the car. We couldn't just switch the pans from the 264 to the 401 because Buick, in their infinite wisdom, designed everything differently on the block when they went to the newer motor. So the oil pan wouldn't even fit. So what we had to do is lob off the bottom of both pans, weld the bottom of the 264 pan onto the 401, and we also had to fabricate a new pickup for the inside so that it wasn't picking up from here, it was picking up in the back.
There's so much going on here with just a little stuff that people don't even realize.
Just little things that take all kinds of hours.
Amazing. It wasn't, how many man hours you probably got it? This is incredible.
I'll add it up one of these days and shot
I don't
the
want to
crap
know,
out of
really,
you.
I don't want to know. But no, this is a work of art. And an engineer, it's amazing how you did this, man. And it's really coming together nice. And I just wanted to show everybody out there because you guys are digging. What do we got going up? Oh yeah, right here.
What we did, I showed you we had the S10 brakes on the back from an S10 truck. These brakes are actually from Willwood, and this is a conversion for this car, which they bolted up really nice.
So we got
And
power
worked on
steering,
really
power
well.
brakes. Yeah, these Willwoods are amazing. The way, yeah.
And we've got a new aluminum radiator for this thing. It's not in there, but it will be shortly. I still have to fabricate the motor mount plates to get the motor sitting exactly where I want it. But as it stands, we're coming right along.
Really
we also got rid of the starter switch that's operated by the gas pedal.
Right.
And that's no longer an option or a feature.
So you'll have
or
like a
pain in
secret
the ass.
switch there or something?
Yeah,
or?
I put a
like
switch
it.
on the dashboard.
like
It's
it.
like the newer cars just have a push button on them.
Sure.
And you'll turn on your key, and then when you want to start the car, you just push the button, and it'll work like the new cars.
I love it. You know, looking at the underside of this is, it's amazing, ain't it, Randy? Can you see that? I mean, it's beautiful. It's a work of art here.
Now, one of
Bars.
the next new piles of parts that we've got
Let's take a look
here
at the exhaust here, yeah.
is the exhaust. And seeing as you can't hardly find any exhaust pipes for an original nailhead car of almost any kind,
Right.
what I did is I picked up some pipes for a late 60s, early 70s Oldsmobile with a 455. And what we did is we picked up some pipes that, if you look at these, they have the original 2 1/4 inch pipe coming off of the manifold, but then it goes to a 2 1/2.
Oh, yeah.
So that we can run a
Nice.
2 1/2 inch exhaust all the way from front to
Yeah,
back.
that's beautiful.
And then what we're
No
going to
crossover. It's going to be total independent. And those boxes are going to sit right up in here. It's just beautiful, man. It's going to really...
Yep, and then what we're going to do is bring the pipes out and kick them out on a 45-degree angle in front of the rear wheels with a bologna slice on them. So
Yeah.
you'll be
have
able
some
to share the
attitude.
barking of the motor with everybody.
Let's talk about these wheels here. Hold on here. Tell us about the tires and the rims.
Yeah, the wheels are American Racing Torque Thrust D wheels. Pretty common use of this wheel on a lot of older cars from the 50s and 60s. I've got a very similar wheel on my 65 Chevy. A buddy of mine's got them on his 63 Ford.
Yeah.
Very correct looking wheel
Yes.
for this kind of a car.
Right
If
on.
you take a lot of the newer wheels and put them on these cars, they just don't look right.
No, nice and meaty tires you picked out. I love those.
The tires are a little bit bigger on the rear than on the front. What we've got is 255 70 15s on the back, and these are on 8-inch wheels. And then on the front, we've got 235s on 7-inch wheels.
Nice.
And we converted the bolt pattern to 4 3/4 instead of the old 5-inch bolt pattern.
Right on, right on. Loving it.
And right now, I'm running the new brake lines in it, finishing up the gas lines.
The Speedo cable.
I forgot about the Speedo cable. Thank you. I forgot about that one.
So your brake lines, your fuel lines. What are the brakes off of?
The rear brakes are off of a 2-wheel drive Chevy S10 Blazer.
So it's a real Frankenstein, but
That's what hot rodding is, man.
we got parts from every Wildcat and Chevy and a few unknowns.
Oh, even the shocks are even off of a Ford, man. I mean,
Yeah,
there's some
and I like
guys
the
that'll
way you
probably send me hate mail for putting Ford parts on a Chevy
Right.
or on Buick, but
I like the way you got them set up there so they look good. to work
Very
with Mark,
cool
Steve.
project, man. You guys are doing great, man. Steve, you're doing great.
Yeah,
Thank
man,
you.
it's awesome, Steve. You've knocked it out of the park. We're looking forward to seeing it run, man. I appreciate your time here too.
No problem.
So there you have
It is
folks.
beautiful, man. I like how you use the
Oh, yeah.
original.
Oh, the original clip for the brake lining?
Yeah. I like to see all the mechanics. We don't want to hide anything under covers or nothing. I want people to see what's going on here. And it's got a lot of that. Now, see, he'll still have to adjust these when he gets it on the ground.
Right.
Get those adjusted.
Yeah, when we measure for the drive shaft
Right.
and all that.
So there's your update on the 55 Buick Special. Thanks for checking out our videos, man. Drop a comment.